Hi folks, welcome back to Game Geeks. I'm your host, Kurt Wiegel. Obviously, we're in a new setting again. We're just going to keep going round robin with these. For those of you who are curious, this is my office at the university at which I teach. So, just in case you ever wonder what the inside of my office looked like, this is about half of it. And it's the clean half. That's why we specifically chose over here on this remarkably uncomfortable purgatorial chair. Today's episode is Reality Blur's Agents of Oblivion. This uses the Savage Worlds rule set. Now, this is described as a perfect cocktail of horror and espionage. Folks, I'm known for liking a lot of Savage Worlds stuff. That rep is out there, and the record is there. GameGeeksRPG.com, take a look at it. There's a lot of Savage Worlds stuff there. It's because I like the rule set. This is probably one of my favorite Savage Worlds books I've ever put my hands on. And here's why. It covers a genre that hasn't been addressed a lot in role-playing. And that is the spy, espionage sort of, genre, for lack of a better word. You could go back to the original James Bond RPG from many, many years ago. Spycraft 1 and 2 have covered this also. But here we got it for Savage Worlds. What makes this different is this is a combination of espionage and the supernatural or the extraterrestrial or horror or really whatever you want it to be. What this does, and it does it brilliantly, is it gives you the option of using spy gear and spy training in two different types of levels. You've got some of the more mundane, that's not the right word for it though. You've got some of the more normal things that you might expect a government agent to have that replicate the abilities of edges, which are some of the cooler abilities that you get in Savage Worlds, but they're understandable. For example, you've got the Shades, which are as they describe it as, they have a set of liquid crystal displays and video feeds that just let you notice things better, which gives you the alertness edge. So, all right. Then the really weird spy tech, like your laser watches or your bomb watches or whatever you want them to be, are replicated as single-use items. These reproduce the powers. So you might have Blast, Spider Climb, Entangle, all of these as described as a single-use spy tech item. Now you can buy these based on your resource points, which you get at different amounts of based on your rank, novice, seasoned, veteran, etc. You can also use you can burn a lot of them to call in an airstrike if you need to, although that's pretty extreme. So this gives you a lot of ways, and if you just wanted to play a straight espionage game, spy versus spy, Mission Impossible, Man from U.N.C.L.E., James Bond, you've got it right there. One of the other really awesome things this game does, though, is it sets up for you different levels of weird that you can use at your choosing. And these levels of weird include extraterrestrial or alien, conspiracy, horror, occult, or technology. Now, what do each one of these means? Well, the alien and these are rated from non-existent to low to moderate to, oh dear God, high. So the alien factor is your extraterrestrials. If you want your X-Files kind of game, or Dark Skies, or Torchwood, this is where you would spend some of your time, and your GM would make alien factor of either moderate's probably where you want to go. High means everyone knows they're there, and you're making like trade agreements with them. The conspiracy is, how deep do these secrets go? Like how many people are actually just playing chess with the universe? The horror is sort of how scary do you want it to be? Occult, how much supernatural magic weirdness do you want in there? And finally, technology is, how much of this spy gear do you want available to your players? The high level of the tech, for example, is it's a cyberpunk game where everyone has access to this tech all the time and it's omnipresent. So you as the GM can dial these in, and the book gives you a whole bunch of different groups, cults, organizations that have different levels of these. The baseline is Oblivion, which is what the title of the game is, really. And that is basically everything at moderate, and this is considered your ground zero for the game. And then your job is you get assigned tasks to go and investigate these things. Most Savage Worlds books come with a adventure generator or a plot generator. This one is no exception, but this one works really, really well. I was bored one day I won't say I was at work when I was doing this because that could be bad, but I was bored one day and I got pulled up on my BlackBerry a random, like a die roller app, and I just started rolling die in this, and all of a sudden I came up with this adventure that was set in 4 or 5 places and going all over the world against these bad guys, and these people were helping you and what you were actually up against, and it worked really, really well. They give you some examples of how to make your bad guys bad. And then they give you example adventures at the back that really just are of different levels of dialing in those different alien, conspiracy, horror, etc. For example, the company line is the Oblivion, which is pretty much moderate at everything, where you've got other ones that are spy versus spy, where there's not much going on that's weird other than governments going at each other. Then you've got some that are like the Eyes of Atlantis, where magic and occultism is there, but the alien piece of it might be slightly lower. What makes this also really interesting is because this is by Reality Blurs, and this is the same people who brought you Realms of Cthulhu, which we reviewed previously, which is the Lovecraftian Savage Worlds game. This and Realms of Cthulhu combine seamlessly. So all you need to do are take the sanity rules out of Realms of Cthulhu, drop them into your Agents of Oblivion game, and all of a sudden you've got a government agency that's out chasing mythos monsters. And you can decide, do you want the pulpy version of the sanity rules or the gritty version of the sanity rules? How crazy do you want your players to go? How quickly? So you could ape Delta Green if you wished. You could mimic the really good Spiraling Worm series of stories, the Harrison Peel and Dixon stories, which we reviewed. That's a mythos fiction we reviewed previously. Go back and watch that one too, because it's worth watching again. Or you could take your own approach to the mythos and find your own way to deal with this. Part of the reason I'm so jazzed and pumped about this is a genre I've really been wanting to look into for a while. And for Savage Worlds, really the closest thing we had up until now was Strike Force 7, which is much more G.I. Joe inspired than it is espionage. I mean, that's more go blow crap up, where this is sneak in and investigate and steal files. There's a lot that's covered in here that I haven't gotten into for time purposes. Folks, in all honesty, I cannot recommend this highly enough. If you like Savage Worlds, if you want to get into the espionage, horror genre, or aliens, or whatever you want. First thing I did when I opened this up and I looked at the rules was I made Torchwood. We all know I'm a Torchwood fan. Easy to do. You can make it back when Torchwood 1, 2, 3, and 4 were active, or back when it's just Torchwood 3, which is based out of Cardiff. So, Agents of Oblivion, take a look at it, folks. It's by Reality Blurs. It's absolutely wonderful. For Game Geeks, I'm your host, Kurt Wiegel. Good day and good gaming.